but we have a recording so you can later follow this at your own pace. Now, I've been doing hundreds of instructional videos for MailerLite throughout the years. I've also done live webinars where I've answered tons of questions, and also had answers of questions in my in the comment section of my videos. Just one last question here. That's why I'm kind of going a little bit slower now. I would just like to know if you can, I know you can hear me, but can you see the screen, the green screen in front of you? Awesome. All right. So I don't see the chat anymore. Hopefully you will hear me till the end. 4 things I'm going to be talking about today, and these are answers to, this presentation is based on the answers of the questions of people, of the people that were asking me throughout these years, and also answers to questions that people haven't asked me, but that I think are super important. And I'm going to start with talking about making your newsletter accessible to your users so they can easily subscribe and easily unsubscribe and easily stay with you, respecting their subscriber rights. This is connected with GDPR if you're in Europe, or not, or even if you're in the States. This is something you should take into account when dealing with European subscribers. Protecting your reputation of your mailing list and your own reputation in terms of connecting, in terms of being in touch with your email service provider. And also increasing deliverability rates, which is a quick hack you can use to instantly increase your deliverability rates. So let's start with accessibility. Some people like me, and you might not believe this, but there are a lot of people like this, like this. They treat their inbox like their little newspaper that they control, and they can subscribe and unsubscribe to things, and they are in total control of their inbox. And the way they use their inbox also, like I do, is to remember different companies they like. So they can sign up to a company, and later on, they don't forget about it. They don't write it down somewhere. They don't put it in an app, in some kind of list. They just use their inbox for this. And that's the way I do it. And just so you know, all these are just demos. The pop-ups you see and things like this, these are just examples. They're not live versions of a pop-up, etc. And I will be using, of course, MailerLite for these examples and other apps I like, but you can use whatever you use. You should be able to do the same things with your personal app. So when I visit a website and I'm interested, for example, in no code, I visit tons of websites and I subscribe to tons of newsletters. And the way I work is I look for a newsletter form. Here, well, I can sign up here to the app itself and to the newsletter, but also I can sign up sometimes through a pop-up. And before I tell you about the things that you should be doing, let me just shortly talk about the things that really annoy me and that you should also take into account while creating pop-ups on your website. And the first thing is when you get a pop-up like this, which is the same color or has weird contrast that you can't even see it's a pop-up. It's covering the things you're trying to see. You're just visiting a website, and the first thing you see a pop-up, you can't read what the website is even about. And even if the pop-up's color is like okay, and it has, let's say, a dark background, again, people can't even see what you're talking about because you're welcoming them with a pop-up. And sometimes some people even make it hard to close the pop-up, so you don't have an X, or you can't close it by just clicking around the pop-up. And sometimes when you want to close the pop-up, what happens is you get another pop-up because someone has a really cool event they want to promote, and what they did is they forgot to turn off their general pop-up on this page. So when this pop-up shows up with their super event, people can't close this one because it's all grayed out. They first need to close this pop-up, but they don't want to close this pop-up because they're also interested in the event, but they have to close it. So they close it and then close this pop-up and then lose access to this pop-up. It's a mess. So remember to turn off any pop-ups if you're promoting anything special on your website. I like this form of pop-up. It's on the bottom. It allows people to still read what you have to say on your website. Same thing is with the one on top. And I really like when you allow people to close the pop-up here, because that's what I do. I read it. If it's interesting, I put in my email. If I don't like it, I just close it so I can see the beautiful websites. Now, The pop-ups I like the most, that are most powerful in terms of open rates, are pop-ups connected with certain articles. So if you have a special article that is very popular, this is just an example. Let's say 16 best no-code tools. When someone reads through this particle, you don't show the pop-up right away, right? You make sure the person is interested, so he or she is reading through the article, and at one point they get the pop-up. Now, the pop-up needs to be connected with this article, and the best thing you could do is promise someone something if they subscribe here that is also connected with the article. So it's a highly customized pop-up with highly customized content that is connected with the specific article. Of course, like I said, this is just a demo. And of course, if you have this type of pop-up, make sure it doesn't cover anything else you're using, like a live chat here, right? Because then people want to access the live chat, they have to turn off the pop-up, or they can't access the live chat because they don't even see that it's there. So people can scroll through this article, the pop-up is still there, it doesn't bother them. Now, it's not just about pop-ups, because I think actually pop-ups are not the most important thing, even though they could have higher subscribe rates. But I think for me personally, the most important thing is to actually allow people to easily subscribe, and it's independent of where they are on their site. This is an example of Yellow Tuxedo, of course. You have the subscribe button. Some people also have input fields here, but that takes up a lot more space. In MailerLite, we also have a sign up button on the top, but you sign up to the app here and also to the newsletter. And another popular place is, of course, in the bottom, in the footer. With GDPR, or the General Protection, oh my gosh, my note, where is my note? General Data Protection Regulation. You do not need a pop-up if you're just going to send people a newsletter. And if you really make it clear what you're sending, like sign up for our weekly email marketing newsletter and MailerLite updates, you can have a little checkbox, but you do not need that. You need the checkboxes if you're going to do additional things like send SMSs and other types of marketing that are not connected with this newsletter. If you want people to sign up to those things too, then you will need to add more checkboxes. And in MailerLite, we also suggest that you have your privacy policy by this. Again, this is not the law, but this is something that at MailerLite we suggest you do. Another thing is here, like you can subscribe, put in your email, and you will, be subscribed. But you can also put in your friend's email. I can put in Alan's email, and he'll be spammed. This is not really the best way of doing it, by just allowing people to subscribe, unless that's really written in your strategy and you know what you're doing. Otherwise, it's good to create a double opt-in, and that means that people subscribe, they get an email, they need to confirm that email, and only then do they get more emails. So they put in their email, they click subscribe, they get a confirmation email. Now, this is not the confirmation email, this is the MailerLite dashboard, and I just wanted to show you where you could actually create a confirmation email. And if you're using your own email service provider, you should also have this option. You create the confirmation email. Of course, you need to have the colors confirm with your brands, so people know what email they're confirming to. And also the confirmation thank you page. After they click confirm your email, they'll be taken to the confirmation page, which you also need to, you need to put something that people can remember you, your image, your color, your brand color, a tagline, et cetera, et cetera. If you have your own page, you just use your own page, you input your URL here. Now, I'll show you an example of this thank you page. I think, again, Yellow Tuxedo is doing this really good. And it's not just because I like them very much, but I just really think this is, it's a memorable name, Yellow Tuxedo, the company itself. The colors are here. Another thing is they're using view in browser. So you can view the email in a browser and then use that same URL if you want to share it anywhere to your friend through email or in a chat or anywhere. It's really easy. Not only to forward the email, but actually use this link and share that link. That's what I like. I like using this link a lot. Now, of course, this is normally a GIF. This is a slide, so you can't really see it here. But this is a GIF. You get to know Alan and Emily more through this video. And when you scroll down, you can see them waving. Again, this is like a little GIF animated. And again, it's easy to remember when you're looking for something and subscribing to 5 different types of businesses or more, and you're getting loads of emails, sometimes you just forget, right? And in a week, when you get an email from a company you subscribe to, you might put them in the spam box just because you don't remember. Now, you could say that, well, it's not your fault as a company because they subscribed, but you have to do everything you can to help them remember, because you're going to get punished for that, right? Your spam rates might go up. Another important thing, and this is connected with the next topic, is you need to make it really easy for people to unsubscribe. It is their right. As easy it is for them to subscribe, it must be as easy for them to unsubscribe. And you don't have to make them unsubscribe right away, because another thing you can help them out with is to keep in touch with you, but not get so many emails. So for example, you might be sending out a monthly newsletter or a weekly, or just for some events like meetups. You can give them the chance, the opportunity to just stick with one of these things. Or from this site, they can also just unsubscribe from all groups. And I'm not talking about something, let's say, abstract with these different, pop-ups and things, pop-ups and unsubscribe settings and forms. You can do this within MailerLite. And if your email service provider doesn't do this, you shouldn't have to go and look for companies for creating your pop-ups or your unsubscribe page. You should find an email service provider that could do that. And hopefully most of them can do that. So make it easy for people to unsubscribe. It is their right. And that is the next thing we're going to be talking about, subscriber rights. And I'm going to go again back to MailerLite, the dashboard of MailerLite. I'm going to go to subscribers. I have a list of dummy emails here. I click on the specific subscriber. And these rights are connected. These rights, the ones I'm talking about, are the rights connected with the situation where someone contacts you and asks you for something, your subscriber. He or she contacts you and asks you for one of these things I'm going to show you in a moment. Here we have actions connected with the specific subscriber. Export JSON file. Again, this is connected to the General Data Protection Regulation, and this is called the portability right. So you need to be able to give that subscriber their data. This data that you have here, you need it to be portable. You need to be able to email them that data or give them that data in a secure way. Of course, unsubscribe. This is not, some people may ask, why would you want to manually unsubscribe someone? Well, believe it or not, some people, they don't click the unsubscribe button. They don't put you in the spam folder, but they want to unsubscribe. And they hit the reply button in their email and they write to you, hey, please unsubscribe me. Now, don't write back. Don't tell them, hey, just click the unsubscribe button. Don't do that. Just go into their account, click unsubscribe, make it easy for them, make it memorable, right? You don't have to be scared. This is something I forgot to talk about, of people unsubscribing, make it easy, because, maybe at this point they don't want the information that you have to offer. But if you make it, really, the experience really nice, then they will want to come back when they actually need that data. So this allows you to unsubscribe. This is the right to forget. If someone doesn't want you to have any data connected with him or her, they will contact you. You click this button, 30 days goes by, and that data is erased from the system. Delete does a very similar thing, but only deletes the subscriber. If he or she resubscribes, the data will be back again. Another right is the right to rectification. And this button, edit, helps you to do that. If your subscriber sees that his or her name is wrong, or last name or country or whatever, they should be able to contact you and you should be able to rectify that for them. Another thing that is connected with this is proof that someone actually subscribed to your newsletter. And if you're using an email service provider, you should have that within your panel. Now, I imported this subscriber, so I do not see this data, but normally you would have the sign up IP address, the opt-in IP address, the opt-in data, and the location. And that's why the double opt-in is also pretty important. So we talked about the double opt-in. Another thing that you can do to provide proof in case in the future, some kind of regulatory body contacts you and says, hey, we got a complaint that you're using someone's data. Well, you can provide the proof I talked about, but also it's good to take a screenshot of your forms, because let's say today you have a form, people are subscribing to that form, but in a year, someone might ask, hey, I didn't subscribe. Can you show me the form I subscribed to? Now, this is a very unlikely situation, but this is something that we suggest in MailerLite to just have the screenshot of the forms. Of course, someone can say that you can Photoshop it, but whatever. It just gives you that additional proof in case it is needed. And this last one is a little connected with it's connected with screenshot, but it's a little off topic. It's the screenshot of your stats. And this is important when you're moving your email service providers. If don't just delete your account when you're moving, take screenshots of your open rates of all the stats, because when you're moving to another email service provider and you have a big list, you might get a question. That email service provider might ask you, hey, where did you get that list from? Or is it a clean list? Or is it an old list? And then you can really share the stats with a specific date. That makes it easier for you to move between the different email service providers, and show them that your reputation is good. And did someone say reputation? So that's the reputation connected with your email service provider. And at MailerLite, when you sign up to account, you need to approve to the terms of service. And if you go to the footer, you can also read these terms of service. And I encourage you to do this with your email service provider or before you choose an email service provider, especially the anti-spam policy. If you go into here, it's a really short text. It tells you what kind of email addresses are okay to send to with MailerLite, what kind of email addresses are not okay, what content must I include in my newsletter, and the account suspension. Now, account suspension doesn't always happen automatically because you go over these numbers, but this raises a red flag for your email service provider. In the case of MailerLite, we don't like high percentage of spam complaints, which is more than 0.2%, bounce rates, 5%, and unsubscribe rates of 1%, or very small open rates, less than 3%. Now, you can go over these rates really quickly if you're moving from another email service provider and you import your whole list and not just your active subscribers. So it's important to use your active subscribers. And also, if you have a very old list that is your customer list, you might not be aware of the fact that after a half a year or a year, those email addresses might not be in use anymore. And some companies which provide email addresses, they keep those addresses as honeypots. And the moment they see that address on any list, they flag that and treat you a bit like a spammer. So less of your emails are going to go into the inboxes of your subscribers. So I remember sometimes when I still worked in support, we used to get these big bounce rates and open rates, and it turned out that someone had a really old list. And the best thing you can do before using a legit old list, don't buy third-party lists, because they have those same problems I just talked about. Even if it's legal in your country, I suggest you create your own list. And if it is an old list, the first thing I would do before using any email service provider is I would clean the list with a third-party provider. This is what we have with in our company. We use MailerCheck for this, but like I said, you can find a lot of these different types of companies, which also integrate with MailerLite. So you can do it directly from your MailerLite dashboard. You clean your list, you get rid of all the bounces and the email addresses that are not available, and automatically your stats go up and your deliverability goes up, and the servers of the world, the email servers of the world, are happy. Now, if you're already using your email service provider, you can really instantly help out with your open rates, your click-through rates, etc. The way you do it, and this is something you should be doing from time to time, every maybe half a year or at least a year. You go to your subscribers, choose a filter. I'm going to go with inactive, time inactive, 30 days. Of course, I would go for half a year, not 30 days. I just wanted to show you that normally I have 216, but if I put in 30 days, I'll have people that have been inactive for 30 days, and there's a smaller number of those people. Then I could select these people, select all of them, take an action, and just delete all of them. I'm joking. You don't have to go to extremes. You can move them to unsubscribe, or you can just create a group that you don't email, or a group of inactive subscribers, right? You can also do this automatically. For example, we have this feature, clean up inactive. These are all the subscribers. There are none because this is a demo account, but these are normally you would see all the subscribers who were inactive for at least 6 months. and then and who have more than 10 emails sent. You can unsubscribe the inactives automatically. You can also create a segment and send an email to all of those subscribers who are inactive and saying, hey, I'm going to be deleting your account. I'm going to be unsubscribing you from my email because it seems like you're not really opening any emails. And I don't want to, I don't want to, what's the word? I don't want to be, I don't want to mess up your inbox, right? I don't want to be garbage, let's say, in your inbox, filling up your inbox. So if you're not interested, just don't do anything. If you're interested, click this email. And once they click that email, they will be gone from this list. And afterwards, you can unsubscribe all the people who haven't clicked. And once you do that, okay, there's one more thing you can do here. Is instead of inactive for 6 months, you can automatically do the same thing for 12 months, 24 months, and also for a larger amount of emails. So for people who have received more than 50 or 100 emails. And then when you do that, your deliverability automatically goes up because you're not sending to the people who are not interested, only to the people who are active in your list. Now, another thing connected with deliverability, the first thing you should think about, I think, in terms of deliverability, if you're already sending, is the benchmarks. So you can just type in Google email benchmarks 2022, look into the email service provider that you are using. I'm using MailerLite. Here it is, benchmarks for 2022. Here are the benchmarks across all industries, about 28%, clicks 3 to 4%, and about 13% click-through rates, unsubscribes, and bounces. Now, if you scroll down, you can see now the rates by industries, for agencies, for authors and bloggers. So I would find your industry and then compare it with your open rates. And again, if you clean your list automatically, your open rates are going to go up. So that's what I would do. And if you think that your deliverability rates are too small, well, you can contact your email service provider by using a live chat or email or whatever your email service provider uses for contacting its clients. And what I would do is go to the account settings, to the domains, and make sure that your domain is verified. That means that you're in control of the email address you're sending from, that it is authenticated. This helps MailerLite and the servers of the world know that you are who you say you are. Because I don't know if you know this, sometimes there's a way of sending a newsletter with a fake email address, right? Well, this just authenticates that and makes sure you're not doing that and lets the servers of the world know about it. And domain alignment is a step up. It's like a more advanced option. But it's set and forget. You do this once. It's a bit of a hassle sometimes, but it's really good because then you're doing things according to best practices. And even if your deliverability rates don't go up instantly, you're kind of secured for the future because different email spam filters and email servers, they make up new rules as things move forward. They protect their users from spam. And this is the direction everyone is going currently. And even though they sometimes, like I said, the deliverability rates might not go up, but in the future, if something changes, your deliverability rates might go down because you're not using this. And another very important thing is, once you contact support, one of the first things that they might ask you is, have you verified your domain? Have you authenticated your domain? So these are the most important things, in my opinion, that people do not ask about, but should know. So we talked about making it accessible and easy for your website visitors to subscribe to your newsletter, to stay around and to unsubscribe. I showed you how you can respect your subscribers' rights, what to do when your subscribers ask for different things, how to protect your reputation. So take care of the list hygiene of your email list, the hygiene of your email list, and how to clean up the inactive subscribers. And if you're using an old list, that you should actually clean it up with a third-party company that will verify whether those emails actually exist. And then I showed you how you can increase the deliverability rates by authenticating and verifying your domains. For each one of these things that I talked about in terms of MailerLite and the features in MailerLite, if you're already a MailerLite customer, there are videos for that, so you can watch the specifics. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. And I didn't go over the time. And I hope you can still hear me. So just so you know, you can ask questions. I can try to answer them. In terms of what to put in your title or in the content of your emails, look into specialists from your specific industry and follow what they're saying. And then, of course, try to be a little different. That's the suggestions I would give. Now we have a question. I had a problem locating where to insert the URL for a new newsletter when I removed double opt-in. In other words, I can find it in the confirmation page, but not without this additional page. So I'm still using double opt-in. Would love not to have to. I had a problem locating where to insert the URL for a new newsletter when I removed double opt-in. Well, if you remove double opt-in, then you only have, let me answer this question for you. So you should be seeing my screen now. And if you go to Forms, and if you turn off the double opt-in in a form, now this is just a test form. If you turn off the double opt-in, you will not be getting the confirmation page, this one, thank you page. You'll just be getting the confirmation email that they don't have to confirm the email, but I'm stubborn. I can't find the word. It's hard for me to say this because I'm thinking at the same time we just switched we have the new MailerLite and the classical MailerLite now. So I'm not actually sure which one you're using and if this is relevant to your question. The best thing you could do is use MailerLite support. You should get your answer very fast. So if you turn off double opt-in, where's the screen to insert the new URL of updated newsletter, please? Well, you don't need to insert no URLs because people they don't need to get a confirmation page. They'll just get a normal, they don't need to confirm then that they subscribe to the newsletter. They just get a newsletter saying, thank you for subscribing. I'm happy, Louise, that you enjoy MailerLite. I'm going through the questions now, and I have 1 minute more. Are you planning to integrate with other CRM systems? Other systems are integrating with us all the time, and we are integrating with different systems. Please ask support for that. If you click the button, if you edit, there's an edit button, Lori, and you should be able to access the editor then, and then click the button you want to link to wherever you want to link, and just insert the link there. It should work. So I'm happy you've enjoyed this, and I will see you in the rest of the event. Thank you, everybody.